I'm comfortable with the biracial child, but I'm not comfortable with the full African American child. And I guess I just would love your opinion on like whether or not that's really different from the perspective of the adoptee.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Adopted Gals podcast. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you guys so much. We have another episode for you guys today. Before we get started, if you are an adoptee who wants to tell your story, email us at adoptedgals.com and we would love to bring you onto our channel and for you to be part of this. Also, if you are also a parent who has adopted children, come on, we would love to also have an interview with you guys and just to get your perspective, because we feel like it's better to get two perspectives, just better than just one side of the story. And lastly, we want to make it clear that our channel, we talk about different topics that sometimes make it seem like we're against adoption. We're not. Our channel is for adoption. The reason why we create this channel is to make sure to bridge the gap between the adoptee and the adoptive parent to make it a better experience for both.
Yes, absolutely. And I do just want to say the email is adoptedgals@gmail.com.
What did I say?
I don't know. It said adoptedgals.com. And so I was like,
Oh, my bad.
no, you're good. You're good. I just want people going like,
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah,
work.
yeah.
Like that's because it's not the right one. So
Yeah.
definitely what she said, we're looking for both parents and adoptees to share their stories and show both sides because it's important. Today, we're actually reflecting off of this video that we both saw that we were like, oh, we gotta do something about this one. We gotta talk about this because it's so important. And like we'll do like a clip of the video so you guys can see. But honestly, the question that the lady asked, which was essentially the idea of the question was like she felt like she was more comfortable. So in the video she's basically asking like, okay, is it like wrong or messed up to say that like I prefer to adopt someone who's biracial versus someone who's full African American, and you can fill in that blank. If someone who's full Asian or full Mexican versus biracial, they have some white and some other ethnic group. And it's a very jarring question. It's like kind of like hearing like someone scratch their nails down a chalkboard, but it's a very
Yeah.
valid question. Honestly, it is valid. If I was adopting, that would probably come across my mind as well. And so that's kind of what we're going to focus on today. And of course, Isaac, he responded to this video. He was very patient with the lady and he had a lot of great valid points. So we just wanted to add our perspective on it as well to just show you guys a different side.
Yeah, I mean, it was a valid question, of course. And I mean, I can't really say much about what that process is like being a biracial adopted into a white family or a different race of family, because I'm not biracial. Because I understand that their plight is a little bit different, but it does not differ that much living in a community that's like fully white and you are the only really person of color in your class and grade and so on and so forth. But it is definitely a valid question. I think those are things that parents should ask themselves before they get into the process of adoption. Like, what kind of child do you want to adopt? Like, what will help you with your life? How adopting what kind of child is going to help you? What to acclimate in your life? Can they acclimate in your life in the best way? I wouldn't prefer people to have that kind of mindset. I would prefer for them to have the mindset of, oh, it's a child that needs a home. It doesn't matter their race. It doesn't matter what they look like, because at the end of the day, it's for the child. You're trying to help them. You're trying to give them a better home and loving and caring environment. But I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at that. We appreciate people like that are honest. That's what it's about during this adoption process and just going through it. Be honest with yourself and people that are around you that you're talking to.
I will say, I will play devil's advocate, Fatmata, because it might sound a little bit contradicting, right? Where it's like, on the one hand, you've seen all over the internet where people are like, that lady that was like, why do white people adopt black people, whatever,
Yeah.
And so then the whole black internet was like, oh no, it should be illegal. It should be banned for people to adopt black people that are not black, right? But then on the other hand, you have this lady who's asking this question like, is it wrong? It makes me kind of uncomfortable because I might be
Yeah.
seen as that person that's dating, that's adopting a black child. I'm a white person. Like, I feel more comfortable dating someone who's biracial because, you know,
Mhm.
in a way, biologically, this biracial child would have one parent that is black and one parent that is not black. You know what I mean? So I guess I'm just playing devil's advocate there, where it's like it is kind of mixed messages. It's like, okay, so
Yeah.
what is right in this situation? You know what I mean? It's like, what
Yeah.
is that's why I said it sounds like a very icky question, but
Yeah.
it's such a good question.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like what I think about this is, and similar to what Isaac actually kind of said, is that just because you're dating a biracial child, does not mean that you are going to have less
Mhm.
challenges, and you're not going to have the same complex challenges that you would with a full African
Mhm.
American or full African child. Um, there's still going to be issues with identity, like Isaac said in one of his videos. There's still, and even children that are not adopted and that are biracial, that have two different ethnicities, it's very
Mhm.
complex and kind of hard. Like, how do you find a place for yourself? That's something I've heard a lot of biracial children
Yes.
experience. We have a lot of biracial children that actually are on our that watch our podcast, and they're like, I'm not adopted, but I relate with so much of what you guys have to say, you
It is
know.
so true. Yeah. Like,
So they're still, just because they're half black, they're still experiencing a lot of similar challenges that a full black child would experience. So you're not, just because they're half bred, whatever, doesn't mean you're going to have less of those experiences and those challenges, and those, you're still going to have to have those complex
mhm.
conversations with your child when it comes to race, even about hair, because some biracial babies, they look more black than they do white. You know what I mean? They're not that perfect mix of, light frizzy hair. It's like kinky hair maybe, and
Mhm.
darker
The first
skin.
yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Then also on top of that, um, he made a very valid point to me. Isaac made a very valid point where he says, um, unless if you don't want the look of a full race black child, then you should adopt a white child. It wouldn't make a difference if they're biracial or fully black. Again, going back on,
Mhm.
you're still going to have those same similar challenges. Now it's just based on the color, how much lighter, maybe the look is a little bit different, but as far as day-to-day life and
Mhm.
specific choices that you'll have to make, for example, what
Mhm.
school they go to, right? Because again, they're biracial, they still are going to be seen as other if they're in a full white community and school and
Mhm.
environment. You see what I'm saying? So,
Yeah. Yeah, and then one thing I wanna add, there is kind of some kind of fetish that some, I'm not saying this white woman who was asking the question has it. There is a fetish that some non-black women, like white women, Latino women, I'm not saying all, that do have this kind of fetish of wanting a biracial child. So it's like a thing that exists within some people that, oh, I want a biracial child, like this designer baby. It's becoming like a thing it's really freaking weird, you know? It's really weird. But I guess if that's what you want, but at the same time, yes, I am okay with her asking that question, but I really hope that she sits back and kind of think about what she asked, because it's coming off like you are trying to get a designer baby, like this fun thing that you want to have. Because anyone, I feel like, that just wants to adopt genuinely, they don't care about how the child looks. You know what I'm talking
yeah,
about? Yes,
yeah.
again, I appreciate the question. I appreciate that. But also ask yourself, what is the intention behind it? What is the
Well,
purpose
I
behind
think
it?
she was at the end, she was kind of alluding to the first part of the question was very attention grabbing, was definitely a hook. But she
Yeah.
was basically alluding at the end that
Mhm.
basically the reason why she was asking is because um, she needed to know how the child identified as, if they're more black identified, you know what I mean? Because if
Yeah.
you're a white person, like, there's only
Mhm.
so much that you can give to a black child when it comes to identity and culture.
Okay,
And
so
I
so
think
she
that's
got
what she was kind of going towards.
okay,
um
so what I'm understanding is, to correct me if I'm wrong, if the child is half white, then that way she can, it's better to be able to connect with the
I
child.
think so, because there's some biracial people who identify more with their white side or their non
Mhm.
you know, black side. We're just using black and
Yeah.
white as an example, right? Or even if it's
Yeah.
Hispanic or Asian and white, there's a lot of people who, and some of them even want to identify culture wise to the
Mhm.
white side fully, but sometimes it's hard because the rest of the world just perceives them as just black
Black.
or just Asian, right? Because they see some features that are
Mhm.
slightly leaning towards black or Asian or whatever. But I know a lot
Yes.
of people who are adopted and they're, or not adopted, they're biracial, and they're like, everything they do is they just like hanging around white people. That's all they like to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? So someone
Mhm.
like that is probably going to fit more with the household where, you know, it's,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But at the same time, I get what you're saying too, where it's like when you're adopting, like at the end of the day, these children do need a home.
Mhm.
And if you are fully concerned about, if
Mhm.
you are concerned about the nuances of adopting someone who's biracial versus non-biracial, I do
Mhm.
think that at the end of the day, you should opt to just adopt a white child, someone of your race, because, you know, I don't know. I just feel like if that's something that you do care about, the
Mhm.
differences, then you should just stay on the safe side and just adopt someone that looks like you, because there's already a lot of other complicated aspects of adoption outside of race
Mhm.
that you need to handle and deal with. You know what I mean? So
Mhm. Yeah, that is everything that you said was very true. I'm glad that you brought this up. I don't know if this is the video that's going to go before our next video, but Isaac is someone, he's an adoptee that we're
mhm,
going to interview as well. So you guys will get to see his story. He has an incredible story as well.
mhm.
But yeah, I don't really have anything more to add to this conversation.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
that's pretty much it.
Mhm.
You know, I think that um, all aspects of adoption have their own challenges.
Mhm.
And, you know, with all of the things that non-adoptive Black children and biracial children have to deal with, just
Mhm.
times that by two with adding adoption, and then see, okay, is that something that I am able to
Mhm.
withstand? Is that
Yeah.
something I'm able to go through with a child? And if it's not, like I said, just stay on the safe side. Adopt. There's plenty of white kids that need to get adopted.
Mhm.
Plenty. It's not
Yeah.
just Black kids that are on the streets. There's a lot of white kids. There's a lot of Asian kids and
Mhm.
Hispanic kids that are also on the streets. So no one's gonna look down on you because you choose not to adopt a Black baby. You know, that it's not your job to go out and save all Black kids and Black babies. You know what I mean? Like, it's really not. Like, I mean, if we want to look at it that way, it's, we should have that responsibility for our own group to save our own people. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, that's not the case.
Yeah,
But
that's a
of course,
different
if
conversation for
you
another
have it
day.
in your heart and you really understand the nuances about race and culture and you're open to learning more, then of course, like, adopt
Mhm.
biracial, adopt fully Black, you know,
Mhm.
have the whole rainbow, shoot.
Yeah. Yeah, at the end of the day, as long as your intentions are pure and it's not about you and it's more about the child in you. But
Yeah.
other than that, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another
Thank
episode. Thank
you.
you. Leave a comment if you like, subscribe, share, let people know that we are here. Till next time.
That's right.
Bye.
Bye.